needs rules to function, whether or not they come from religion or God or a book or from ourselves. Out there, every day, are millions of people who cheat and lie and steal and kill. The only thing that keeps society functioning in the face of these people are two things. The first is the law, what the government judges us by. The second is our own personal integrity, the rules that we judge ourselves by. What makes me a better person? I won't steal your car because I believe stealing is wrong, or I won't steal your car because I'm afraid the police will arrest me. Which makes me a better person? To paraphrase American writer Dale Carnegie, be more concerned with your reputation than be more concerned with your character than your reputation. Your reputation is merely what others think you are. Your character is what you really are. Integrity has no need of rules. Au contraire, out there, come on. Integrity is the set of rules we live by, the rules with which we define ourselves. We judge ourselves. We limit ourselves. Integrity is the set of rules we use to make us human. It's the set of rules we use to make us who we are. Thank you. Yes.
3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Only?
Okay. So, very interesting speech. Thank you for that. In that case, what you're saying, you're talking about ethics. What you meant by having your own rules, right? Versus what the government might have, based on the rules, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, can you define to me where could you get those moral values that a person can have?
A person can get their moral values from anywhere. They can get it from religion, and because God said it was a bad thing. They can get it from the law, because the government says it's bad. Or some common sense that you can get from your parents. Don't steal, treat others like you'd like to be treated. It doesn't matter where your rules come from, but integrity basically means having rules. They can be any rules, they just have them.
But who decide, is it based on your character, or is it the way you were raised? Is it about your parents' influence that make you a better person than another, a moral person than another?
It's what you do that makes you a better person. Regardless of how you were raised. There are people who were raised in good homes that still became criminals. Or people who were raised, who were raised in rags and rose to riches. It basically matters, it's basically the old trite but true saying, do as I say, not as I do. That we follow the rules, regardless of where they came from or who taught us. Because if a man steals a car, for instance, we don't care why he did it. What matters is he stole a car, he's going to jail.
Let's assume in a given society, hypothetically speaking, stealing is a good thing to do. So part of characterizing integrity is to steal.
By that culture's definition.
Okay.
But by most cultures, they're not.
So you travel from this word to that word, and stealing the word, it's part of being an honest person. This is perhaps another word for integrity. So is that person honest or not?
That's all a matter of perspective if we're getting into culture.
So he's following the rules that says,
No one said integrity no one said it had to be a set of good rules, just that it was a set of rules.
so you're following rules.
Exactly. You're following what some people might say were the
So
wrong
integrity
rules.
is a relative thing.
I never said they had to be good rules, I just said they were rules. What certain people might consider in their integrity. For instance, some people would value preserving life, not killing, over not stealing. As an example.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Isn't that name Abu Ali? No? Okay, so for our third contestant, Mu'min Darus.
ladies and gentlemen and fellow doctors. Okay, so if people are good only because they fear punishment and hope for a reward, then we are a sorry lot indeed. One of my favorite quotes by Albert Einstein. He was saying, if this were true, it would be sad. He was in fact making the point that it was not true. Aristotle was the first to write about tabula rasa, which stands for blank slate, which was further developed by Ibn Sina, where he argued that human intellect at birth resembled a tabula rasa, a pure potentiality that is actualized through education and comes to know. This is the main reason where, when a child is born, trying to display good ethical and moral behaviors in front of the child is crucial, for that is the time when they are most perceptual of their surroundings and are capable of absorbing huge amounts of information about the outside world. Humans are ethical beings by their biological nature. We evaluate our behavior as either right or wrong, moral or immoral, as a consequence of our eminent intellectual capacities, which include self-awareness and abstract thinking. These intellectual capacities are products of the evolutionary process, but they are distinctively human, which led philosophers into granting us, Homo sapiens, another name, Homo moralis. What are rules? Rules can be really helpful when it comes to playing a game with others, for they are a sort of agreement of the boundaries and objectives of the game. However, when it comes to the game of life, there are no rules. Integrity has no need for rules. A quote by Albert Camus, which emphasizes on one of the most important aspects of human being, morality. Many philosophers believe that the notion of attaching a moral meaning to our actions is actually what distinguishes us from other animals. People are supposed to do the right thing because of their personal conduct, not to obey rules established by someone or to avoid a penalty. People with integrity do the right thing because in their own mind and sense of judgment, it's the right thing to do. That is what humans strive for. If you create rules to live by, sooner or later you'll encounter the situation where wisdom will have you break them. Living in accordance with wisdom is the ultimate integrity. The three necessary conditions for ethical behavior are the ability to anticipate one's consequences from a certain action, the ability to make value judgments, and the ability of being able to choose different courses of action for each situation. These are abilities that are a consequence of the intellectual abilities of human beings. However, I have to point out that the moral code is not a unified set of rules. It is different from a human being to another. An action that might seem moral to you might be immoral to another. For example, right now, the weather is pretty hot, and I have the urge of either taking my shirt off or doing something that would make me cool. So the three things that will run in my mind are, is it okay to take off my shirt? What will I benefit from this action? And is there any other way to cool off than taking my shirt off? Now let's imagine I was raised in an unethical background. I would simply take off my shirt, believing it's the normal thing to do, cool down, and not even care about what others think. Now, if I was an unethical person, in my sense of integrity, it's normal. It's not bad for others. However, if I was raised in an ethical background, the integrity of myself would demand me to lift my sleeves and move around a bit without risking my image and cool off with my mind at ease. Integrity has no need for rules which dictate your actions, but it has the needs for rules of logic, reason, and devotion to one's convictions. A wise man once said, "Integrity without knowledge and wisdom is useless, while knowledge and wisdom without integrity is dangerous." People with integrity do not need rules to tell them right or wrong. They are humans who do the right thing without being told to do so. Integrity, when supported by a touch of intelligence, is the main reason why we, as human beings, are still alive on this planet. Thank you. 4 minutes, 25 seconds.
If I want to summarize, I would say that you agree with saying that integrity needs no rules, right? Because at the end you came to that conclusion.
But the point is, the rules that Albert was talking about were not a set of rules that you are reading. By rules, he meant logic, reason, the ability to be able to critically think about the action you're doing before you do it. But that also depends, the rules that of logic and reason depend on your own culture, from your background. It differs between a person and another.
So, there is a rule.
There is a rule.
Okay. In the second paragraph, we're saying that you judge that rule or you judge your action according to the rule. There is two different things. So every time you want to steal, you question the rule that do not steal, or Moses...
No, I do not question the rule that I do not steal. I question the rule that I have been raised as.
According to the rule. So
Yes,
you are
that I
following
have been
the rule.
raised as.
So you are following the
Yes,
rule.
exactly.
Yeah, definitely. So you don't, when you want to do something, you want to know whether it's right or not. You want to kill. Do you judge what Moses said, do not kill? You don't judge it. You simply judge your action according to what? According to the rule that do not kill. So this is inherited in your inner self from your parents, from society. It's a rule within, you don't realize it every time you want to do something. It gets actuated every time you want to kill. It tells you do not kill.
Yeah.
But it's a rule.
Yes.
Whether it comes from, I don't care. But it's a rule by society, by God, by somebody, by some powerful authority, whatever. It's a rule. Do you agree with that?
No, I did, no, to a certain extent, yes, I do agree with that.
Why do you agree that we are actually born so blank and that society and our parents fill in our tabula rasa with whatever info we follow or instinct we follow?
I definitely do agree. Imagine if you have a kid and you raise them on a background of killing and stealing. Of course he was going to grow up as a killer or a stealer, even if he gets to know the notion. However, when you're young, you absorb everything without being able to critically analyze it until you grow up. Maybe a person might change when he grows up at this period where he is still ignorant about what is right and wrong, what his own cultural behavior commands him to do. He is still an ignorant person.
What's the role of good intention here?
We'll see, good intention is always a matter of perspective. A good intention, there's something called the good for yourself and the greater good, and they always conflict. Like if I can, let's say if he cheated and I told on him, it might be bad for him because he's caught, but it's good for the university. However, vice versa, he might pass and he might fail from the university. So it's always, good intentions are a matter of perspective, and you have to take into account the greater good of the object, or your own good, depending on what your mindset has been developed as.
If I want to follow on that example you have just given one, what do you consider the act when you inform, when you tell the professor or the teacher or whoever is proctoring there about your classmates cheating? How can you describe it? Is it a kind of, a form of showing integrity or not?
Well, to a certain extent, integrity, in my case, if this is what happened, you have to find out the consequences of your actions. So if I told on him, he would fail, and the university is not that much benefited by that action. However, he would pass the course, and he has not done something wrong. However, it is against my integrity as being an honest person and someone who should not lie.
Did he do anything wrong? Did he or didn't he?
No, of course he did something wrong. But however, my rules said I would like everyone to get a good chance at life, so I would not tell him. This is what my integrity tells me. However, if it was beneficial actually to the greater good, I would have done it.
Do you think people might be more applying rules? Is it in an individualistic society or collective society? Based on your examples that you gave.
بس أول الجملة ما سمعتها. The rules true.
Do you want me to repeat it?
No.
Where do you think people would apply rules and from integrity? Is it in an individualistic society or collective society?
based on my example, they should apply it in a collective society, because as I have said before, you're a person who absorbs your surroundings. So if the culture beside you is enforcing the correct choice of integrity in their own opinion, of course, as I always say, integrity is a matter of perspective. So if in their own opinion they're enforcing integrity on their children and on their surroundings, of course they will be enforcing the rules. However, if it was individualistic, every person will be for himself. They will not be able to see the greater good from the own personal gain. So that is the difference between them.
Thank you, Mohammed.
Thank you.
Okay, judges, I would like you to head to the back room where you can discuss your decisions regarding the winners. He didn't show up.
Farida did not show.
Farida dropped yesterday. And in the meantime, please everyone join us for in the entrance of the theater for the reception. Thank you.
They can deliberate outside more.